Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. From touchdowns to liquid air on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
There we go. This thing be switching my microphone for some reason. Like I got this is a Shure MV7 microphone, and then it somehow StreamYard switches me to the NVIDIA software microphone. So I don't know why it does that, but everything here looks good. I got to go in and make sure I got the right channel rolling. So, but I appreciate you letting me know. Y'all be on top of it. Y'all be on top of it. But check this out. I need to show y'all something. Y'all know I'm about the graphics. Y'all know I'm about the graphics and the animations. Just came up with something new. Had to bust it out. You see me rocking the Kelly Greens today, but just came up with something fly, something fresh. as a kid from the 80s, something fresh. Check this out. Check this out. Don't bite. Don't bite. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. Fly, Eagles, fly. Oh, my God. I can't stand myself sometimes. I had to get the flapping wings in there. I've been thinking about that for a while. And I finally figured out a way to do it. It looks good. It looks better than I could have even imagined it. So that's kind of dope. I liked it. Yeah. Love it, love it, love it. That's what I'm talking about. uh but the talk of the day is how we yes, the flapping wings. You already know. You already know, Ant. You already know. Um, what do y'all think of the seeing the Raiders game? We needed that Raiders game. That's what we talked about. That was a get right game, and we got right. We couldn't get more right in that game. The only way we could have got more right is if Dallas Goedert would have caught that pass and would have had 3 touchdowns on the night. You know what I mean? But, AJ Brown didn't get many targets, but he had that one strike in the third quarter, I believe, and that was lovely. That was lovely. Although I did see, it was my opinion that Nick Sirianni was hamming it up a little bit for Hard Knocks when he went to jail and was like, "You better say that was an effing good design play." I was like, "Who says that on the sideline? Like, who says that?" That's like the girl, looking at the microphone and telling people, like, "You gonna tell me I'm pretty?" It's like, if we got to tell you, you know what I mean? So, um, yeah, that was kind of, he was playing up to the camera, so it's all good, I guess. I just, we shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to ask us to tell you. Is what I'm saying. Regardless of if you are or aren't, if it was a great play or not, don't ask me to tell you it was a great play. You know it was a great play. Let the celebration be natural. If you would naturally say that, then don't say it, because it seems like you're putting on for the cameras and it comes across as fake. So don't do that. But it is what it is. So I thought that was a one-off, but I guess they gonna be here for weeks, for the next 4 weeks. I guess it is. Yeah, that was very cringe, and very cringe. But that's not the first time. Not the first time we didn't see something like that from Sirianni. Not the first time. So, but it's all good. It's all good. So, listen, I'm gonna be dropping the mic tonight. I'm gonna drop the link. So if anybody, I'm expecting everybody to jump on. I'll keep you on for 5 minutes. We can have multiple people on. So, um, if you got something to say, I will be dropping the link tonight. If you don't want to be on camera, you know the rules. Turn your camera off. We can still hear you. You do not have to be on camera to 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 participate. So we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. Also, some other news I saw that somebody posted a clip of Travis Kelsey on the New Heights podcast with him and Jason Kelsey, and they were talking about Patrick Mahomes getting hurt, and I believe he had surgery yesterday, either yesterday or today. But Travis Kelsey was commenting on that. And, he was giving the same old coach speak. I know he's going to be getting ready as soon as possible. He's trying to get back on the field next season, and this, that, and the other. And somebody made a point to say in his commentary of the Patrick Mahomes injury, Travis Kelsey never said the word "we." He kept saying, I hope the Chiefs do this, that, or the other. I hope the Kansas City Chiefs, I hope they do da 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 da. I hope they da 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 da. He never said "we." And I never thought about it like that. But when you talk about they, them, when you talk about your old team as they or them, that means you done detached. So just something to think about. I think it's time for him to walk away while he can walk away. Walk away from the game, bro. You're a first ballot Hall of Famer, although you'll probably wait so you can go in with your brother because y'all both Hall of Famers. Shout out to Ohio putting out Hall of Famers again. But he really ain't got nothing else to do. You about to marry the biggest pop star in the world. You got what, 3 Super Bowl rings? You're arguably the best tight end in the history of the game. Some people will argue still Shannon Sharp. Some people will argue Gronkowski, Antonio Gates. There's other ones, but you are in the conversation. You are in the conversation as one of the best to ever do it. So to even be in that conversation says something. And there's not anything else you can do. You know, Kansas City ain't going back to the Super Bowl next year. Patrick Mahomes might not even play next year. So walk away from the game, bro. Do it your way. Walk away. Show up at your girl's concert. Do whatever y'all got to do, man. And, do you. I ain't mad at you. You put good years in this game. And you was nasty. You was deadly. You was the best of the best. I ain't mad at you. I don't want to see Kelsey go the same route as Zach Ertz. That was painful to watch. That hurt. Because all that, Zach Ertz is one of them dudes that don't say nothing. He just put his pads on and go to work. Just go to work. So Zach Ertz he might end up in the Hall of Fame before it's all said and done. So if you have an opportunity to walk away from the game, walk away. Walk away. Not on crutches. Not on the cart. Just walk away off from the game, man, and be happy with your contribution. So we'll see. He might do that next year. When it's all said and done and he rehabs after surgery, I think that's an automatic that they're going to do that. They're going to let him do that. And he would probably want to do that. So, he got to go through his process and figure out what he want to do. Because even with situations like this, that is a hard pill to swallow when you got to tell people like, all right, it's time for me to shut it down. Even when you think it's time to shut it down, sometimes it don't work that way. Sometimes it's hard. You look at BG, look at Phillip Rivers. I mean, it's hard, man. Shout out to Jason Kelsey. Shout out to Jason Kelsey for making the decision to do it and then sticking with it, knowing we need help at center. And you can still play. But he got busy with other things with the quickness. That's one thing that I tell people now. People ask me, do I wish I would have done anything different? When I stopped playing football, I wish I would have immediately gotten into either coaching or the stuff I'm doing now with broadcasting. And I wish I would have started doing that immediately. But you got to go. There's a mental. You got to go through mental gymnastics when you walk away from the game, especially if it's not, if it doesn't end well for you, which was my situation. I didn't get injured or anything, but it was a bad situation with the team I was with, and it just ended badly, and it left a really, really bad taste in my mouth. And I was like, I ain't got to go through this shit no more. I don't want to. And it was something that I always told myself, if you're not having fun, it's time to walk away. If you're not enjoying yourself, it's time to walk away. And that's what I did. But at least I walked on my own terms. I wasn't hurt, nothing like that. Do I wish I would have done some things differently? Absolutely. Everybody goes through that. But the ultimate goal is to walk away from the game, and you don't want the game to spit you out. Zach Ertz got spit out. Devontae Adams got spit out. Patrick Mahomes is getting spit out. So if you can walk away from it, listen, man, walk away, give your press conference, do it at the end of the Eras tour or whatever it is you're going to do, do your thing. And like I said, be proud of your contribution. Yeah, Zach will definitely be he'll be Hall of Fame contention, man. He was solid for a very long time. Yeah, I'd heard that about Jason saying his knees was aching. A lot of people like that, man. I count myself very lucky, bro. Very lucky. I never broke a bone. I never tore ACL, MCL, LDL. None of that. My worst injuries in my whole career. In college, I had a severe ankle sprain that kept me out like 3-4 weeks, and I had a shoulder bruise one time that kept me out about 3-4 weeks. Missed a couple games, but never broken anything. Never tore anything. Never had a cast on. Never wore a knee brace. None of that. So I count myself lucky. I did have my share of concussions because back when I played in college, um, they didn't care about concussions like they do now. They if you got your bell rung, coach would wait for you to see if you was ready to get back in. There was only one time where I couldn't go back in the game, and I was smart enough to keep myself out of the game. And we were in a battle. We were playing. Was it South Northeast Louisiana? We were they were a good team. We were going into the playoffs, and I scored on a touchdown, but I was racing to the corner, couldn't make it, and decided to go airborne. And they had this big ass defensive tackle, um, and he smacked me. When I went airborne, he caught me, and he caught me good. Let me see. What was the? I can't remember. Rosie, you stuck around for a minute. We I was trying to remember what the school was, but I can't. But all I remember was I went airborne and this big ass defensive tackle like caught me in the helmet and I kind of did a helicopter and I scored. No, I don't have that clip. I scored, but I remember my head was ringing and my fingertips were tingling. And I knew um and then I sat down, took a knee, and just my head was like I couldn't remember my plays. Like I was out of it. And the Dr. Barton, Doc B, um, shout out to Doc B and all my people at Eastern Kentucky, man. Um, Doc B was talking to me. He was like, "You all right?" I said, I gotta take a knee for a minute. Like my head is like I can't think straight. Like I was foggy. And I told coach, like, I can't remember the plays. I can't even function right now. And so I just took a knee and watched. I sat out most of the fourth quarter, and I watched my backup go in, and they were killing him, and he ended up fumbling the ball. Coach kept looking back at me. Coach kept looking back at me like, "You good?" And I was like, I just kept shaking my head like, "No." Like I was there. There's no way I'm going back in this game because I'm like, even, and I had been in that situation before, and I had gone back in the game, but for some reason, something was like, nope, not this time. Because like my head was just like it was something wasn't right. And I knew it. And the only person that was gonna take care of me was me. But it took everything not to go back in that game. And we won because this dude named Jason Little blocked a punt and got a scoop and score, and we won the game. We won the game. So yeah, man, different stuff like that happened. Concussions. I think I got one concussion when I was in Eagles camp, and that was just another situation where you got your bell wrong, but I didn't come out, nothing like that. So that was one of them grindy days in camp. Just took a hit. The rookies, we were crash test dummies. Seth and Byron Evans and them guys teeing off on you because you a rook. We run a scout team or whatever it was. So, but other than that, man, I can't. The one thing we have in common when I talk to other guys, even the guys that don't have any symptoms of like CTE or anything like that, our short-term memory is trash. It is trash, man. It is trash. So, yeah, I took myself out, and then what happened when I was in the World League in Scotland, I got a concussion, and I started crashing out like big time because I was ready to go back in the game. Coach took my helmet. One of the trainers, they told one of the trainers to take my helmet, and I started crashing out. Like I started saying some just like crazy shit. And then my homeboy was with me, and I said something crazy. He just kind of looked at me and just like walked away. Like, all right, you tripping right now. I ended up going back and talking to him and apologizing. Like, my bad, bro. Like, I know I shouldn't have. I was like, and my head was ringing. I got hit I made the tackle on kick return, and the dude tried to jump over me, and his knee hit the top of my helmet. And that particular time, when I got up, my knees just buckled, and I couldn't walk. That's how woozy I was. So I had to get somebody to help me, and we walked off. And after that, they were like, "Nope, you're done for the day." And then I got pissed off and all that kind of stuff. So it was, so yeah, everybody go through them things, man. But I'm lucky enough. Silver lining in my career, I didn't play very long. I played 5 years total, but nothing crazy because I've seen some of the guys that played when I played, and they in bad shape. They in bad shape. Can't walk. That had 2, 3, and 4 knee surgeries. My boy Baldy, I couldn't even tell you how many surgeries he done had. And that if y'all know Baldy, if y'all watch Baldy on football on NFL Network, Baldy got that 90-degree pinky when he broke his pinky and never got it fixed. He was like that when we played together in '93. He done had that pinky like that since I met him. And he's just like, I don't worry about it. It ain't bothering me, so I ain't gonna fix it. And that has become his signature. When he hold the microphone, you see that pinky cracking down on that 90-degree angle. And it's crazy, but yeah. Yeah, it was dangerous. It was dangerous. We did our thing, though. We were built different. So, but I tell you what, let me drop this link if anybody want to come on the mic. Let's see. Make sure y'all hit the like button if you ain't doing nothing. But let's see. Let's talk. See who want to come on and see what's going on. Seeing all of this stuff with Shador. I saw a report today that they're trying to figure out if they want to draft another quarterback or give Shador another year. I'm like, give him another year. The thing with Shador is this. He was a 5th round pick, and he shouldn't have been, but he still had a 1st round grade. All the draft analysts projected him late 1st round, early 2nd round. So that's a top pick. And you got somebody at an easy price. But he still, even though he's quote unquote a 5th round pick, he still got 1st round talent. And I don't understand why the Browns keep screwing around with that. Plus, you got to bring somebody else in. And I look at it like this. If Gabriel would have done the things that Shador has done, there would be no question that they're sticking with it. All that kind of stuff. What's up, Chris?
What it do, Coach?
What's going on, man?
Man, it's been a while, man, since you dropped the link. Still been in
Yeah.
chat though, but it is good. Maybe perfect timing. After that get right game on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
I definitely think we one game away from Clinch in the East, so things could be better, but it ain't too bad. You know what I'm saying? We in a decent spot. So, but I think Sunday for sure was a get right game. I don't know what some of these folks talking about. It was just the Raiders. I mean, the schedule works itself out. I mean, we played some tough teams early in the year. I mean, we gonna get some, now down the stretch, we gonna have some teams where people are like, yeah, we gonna be favored, and they could be, teams we could handle, a little bit easier. But I mean, the schedule always works itself out. We played tough teams early part of the year, so I mean, I don't see why people making it act. I don't know why people act like it's new to where over a 17-game season you got a couple teams that you play and you way better than them. Like that's always the case. The schedule always evens itself out. Like
because didn't nobody say that they were looking? Everybody was expecting good things from the Raiders this year.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Or they showed there was some guy. He's an Eagle guy. He posted on his Twitter like the difference in reaction when the Cowboys beat the Raiders and then when we beat the Raiders. When the Cowboys
I saw that.
It was, oh my God, did you see that defense? And they could get on the run here. They gonna beat this team. And then when we do it, well, it's just the Raiders. And I'm like,
it's just the Raiders. Yeah, listen, man, you got who you got.
Yeah, it's the same team. You know what I'm saying? They didn't get better or worse over the past 2-3 weeks since Dallas played them. But the difference in reaction is crazy. But I think we're in a decent spot, man. I think it was just good for the morale of the team to get that win.
Absolutely.
Get that win. And the way they won it too, I think it was huge. It wasn't, had it been another. If it was like a 17-13 type win, I'd have been like, ooh. But the way they went out there and took care of business, they committed to the run.
Absolutely.
I feel like Saquon is missing a few gaps, though, Coach. It's some explosive runs there that I feel like. I know you talk about him bouncing it outside a couple times. There's a few times where I know there was one play I saw where he had broke through to the second level, and I think AJ had his man pinned to the inside, or he had him pinned outside. And Saquon, if he stays inside, he's been one-on-one with the safety. And he bounced it out, and I think it threw the whole block off that AJ had for him. So
because I've watched most of his runs, and most of the time when he misses a cut, I understand why he missed the cut.
Okay.
Because it's not like he's just not seeing it. I think, in my opinion, he's just made his decision.
Right.
Because you got to pick us, you got to go left or right. What are you going to do?
Right.
So based on what he sees, now he has missed a couple of. I thought he missed a good opportunity to bounce outside, and he probably could have took it to the house against the Raiders. But
right.
I understand why he does what he does, because at least I think he's looking to hit the hole where it's supposed to be, because that's how you do what you're supposed to do first. It's almost the same as like you saw Max Crosby getting mad at Devin White because he didn't have contain.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a hero. Do your job first.
Right.
And that's how I think Saquon goes about his business. He knows he's good enough to break one, and when the opportunity presents itself, he's going to take advantage of it. But for the most part, he's not looking to go off script, because that can get you in trouble.
Right.
More times than it pays dividends. I just wish that we could scheme the bounce into the play. It would be as simple as maybe changing one block, maybe somebody lining up on the outside shade instead of on the head up or on the inside shade, so they can hook somebody and take them down the line of scrimmage to give him a better opportunity to bounce outside. You can scheme those things.
Right.
I think they should do it, because Tank Bigsby, that's his bread and butter right now. He is planting his foot, getting outside, and he's committing to it. And every time he does it, he's getting at least 4 yards. And I'm like, I'm good with that.
Yeah, 4 yards a carry to get the job done. It'll keep us on schedule. You know what I'm saying? It'll keep us out of those second and third and longs, especially if they first down runs. They'll keep us out of them predictable where you got to pass type plays. So I think Patullo been I don't know, you've been saying it for most of the year. A lot of it is player execution based, but I think Patullo, with some of the better execution is you could kind of see some of the stuff, especially in the red. Hey, he been great in the red zone. Can't nobody argue what he doing in the red zone. It's crazy.
Right.
But, I think with some of the better players, even the Charger game, I know we ain't been on, we ain't open the league in a while, but even the Charger game, it was some good stuff that was going on. It was just some of the untimely things that happened with AJ's drop and Smitty slipping and some of the things that didn't really have anything to do with Patullo, but it was some good things going on that I feel like he's kind of, maybe he's getting better just as everybody else is as we getting towards the stretch run of the year where it's like, yeah, I mean, if players execute what they're supposed to, plays look a lot better than if, guys is missing blocks left and right.
Yeah, but I also think we hit those opportunities. You know what I mean? Because on that long pass to Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith slips on the route.
Mm-hmm.
but he recovers, and he just blew by the DB.
Right.
Now, the Chargers game, he slips and goes down.
Right.
AJ Brown, gets his hands on the ball and he drops it, turns into a pick. When we got our hands on the ball today, in the Chicago game, I believe it was. No, the Dallas game. Zach Bond gets his hands on the interception and he drops it.
Yeah.
We didn't do that against the Raiders.
Yeah.
We got those balls. We caught the interception. We were making things happen. We got the great play call with the shovel pass to Dallas Goedert. And then the bootleg when we should have had his third touchdown. But those aren't new plays.
No.
Those are just wrinkles to the plays that already exist that we just haven't run yet.
Yeah. Man, Dallas Goedert is a weapon, man. Good Lord.
He is, but I think this is going to be the last year with him.
Unfortunately. But, hey, while he's here, let's keep using him and max him out. You know what I'm saying? If it's the last year.
We still got to do something about our Grant Calcaterra not being able to block.
Yeah, that's a problem. That is a problem.
It is hot garbage, but
it's bad. It's bad. That's why I was because I was looking at a few people, I think from the Charger game, and they were like, some of AJ's blocks weren't great, which some of them weren't. But I'm like, if you look at the tape and like you do and you talk about all the time, if you look from the start of the whole year, the blocking from everybody at times has been really bad. Everybody except Jalen, because Jalen obviously ain't blocking nobody. But the blocking from the O-line, the tight ends, the receivers at times has been just terrible. So it's like, hopefully we can figure something out with Grant coming down the stretch here. Like, look, bro, you got to be better than what you've been, man. I don't know if you got to be great at this point, but dude, put a hat on something. I mean, my God, like there's a couple of times, I think even from the Raider game, he just was slipping and falling. I'm like, ooh. So hopefully they can get that figured out. But, all in all, I think it's just good. Like you said, the morale of the squad, just to get that win, man.
Yeah.
1-0, killing the whole narrative about somehow AJ, for some reason, I think it was strictly just coincidental. It had nothing to do with him directly. But the fact that he had those bigger numbers and we were 0-3, I'm like, I don't think that had anything to do with him. I know the Charger game, he wasn't great, but the other two games,
again, all three of those games we should have won.
Should have won. You know what I'm saying? And
all three of those games, the Charger, they took away that touchdown, the holding call. It was a horrible holding call.
Horrible.
So just things like that happen, and like I said, Devontae falls down on that one route.
Yeah.
And then we then had penalty situations. The one. Was that the second? Am I thinking of the Chicago game where AJ looked like he slowed down on the route again?
No, that wasn't that game. Or no, that one. I don't. That might have been the Denver game when AJ looked like he slowed down. I don't think that's happened.
But my point is that we, in spite of how bad we play, we've always had opportunities to win, with the exception of maybe
the Giant game,
the Giants game, and I think there was one more game where we just didn't have it. I want to say that maybe that was Denver, but I don't think that's right because we should have beat Denver too.
No, I mean the Giant game was really this year the only game where with about 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, we knew it was over with. Other than that, every other game has come down to the wire,
right?
Even the ones that we've lost. So we've been in every game. Some of the execution, like you said, has kind of been what it was at times. But I was piggybacking on one thing I was going to say, because I heard the stream with Tone the other day, and I know people have talked about this, where for us it's just continuing to win, even though we may not get style points and this and that. My only thing with that is this, and we saw this already this year. The Denver game is the perfect example. Like my thing with, I think people, to me, and maybe you can help me out, I view style points as when you're already blowing a team out and you putting up, kind of what Detroit was doing last year. Like they're already up 2-3 scores and then they trying to score 40, 50. That to me is style points.
What I mean when I say that is I mean this literally, and it seems like the fandom wants, whether we win or lose, it always looks worse if Jalen doesn't throw for 300 plus yards, or we have at least 30 to 35 passing attempts. Like when I say style points, that means that everybody's looking for Jalen to look like everybody else.
Oh no,
all the past, like that's what I mean when I say style points, because he's not that dude, and everybody complains about it. But the one thing that he's good at, that all those other guys that are throwing for all of those yards can't do, is win at a consistent clip.
Right.
Jalen Hurts threw 4 interceptions and a fumble, and then for the year he still only has 6.
Yeah.
So he's still in like the top 5 in. I guess that's efficiency, not turning the ball over, all of that type of stuff. So even with that game, he's still one of the tops in the league for taking care of the ball and doing what he's got to do. And when I say style points, that just means people, they want to see him throw for, 35, 40 times. They want to see the big yardage games and all that kind of stuff, but that's not his game. Not saying that he can't do it, but
no, that's not his game. I mean, his game
is
a
grounded out type of guy. So
yeah, my only thing with that though, and this is especially for playoff time, like the ability to put some of them points up though is going to be necessary, only because, like, in the playoff situation, it's one and done. And we saw the Denver game. I think the Denver game was a perfect example of when you just keep stalling out on offense, or when you have a chance to put teams away and you don't get that extra touchdown. Or this year we ain't really had the Saquon. Maybe it'll come back in the playoffs, but we haven't had those knockout punch runs this year. So it's like, when when you have that opportunity to put teams away, I think it's imperative that you do, if you want to say run up the score a little bit, just so you don't have your defense have to make every single play, because you can't hold everybody.
Nah, you can't.
It's hard. Like you said, them other guys get paid too. They good on offense, and these offensive coordinators, as good as Vic is, they're going to make plays at times. So you got to be able to help them out at times to where we can't hold everybody to 15 or 14 or
we got to be able to outscore them.
Period. Yeah, especially if we're gonna have to go on this playoff run where we got to win 4 games. You figure at some point somebody's gonna put up at least 28, and we got to be able to match that and maybe exceed it. Yeah,
maybe. But against our defense,
I'm just saying it might happen. It might.
I don't know. It might happen. Cass, what's going on, dude?
What up, Coach? And see, just to piggyback off that, I have no qualms about that at all, because when it comes that playoff time, we know whatever's needed of Jalen, he usually delivers. Like, we've seen it in several different situations. Even this season, we've seen the grinded out games, and then we've seen the Rams game in the second half where he had to throw for 240 and 3 touchdowns. So I just feel like whatever's needed of our quarterback and this team when it comes to that time, he does it. Now, what gives me that even more confidence is this Raiders game. Well, people keep talking about, oh, it's just the Raiders. What I wanted to see is exactly what I saw, and that was for them to stop playing down to the competition. You get somebody, you put your foot on their neck, and you keep your foot there. Like, and what made me even more happy was it wasn't even about the points and all that. It was about the continuation of drives. They had 4 touchdown drives. 3 of those touchdown drives were 10 or more plays. The defense only played 39 snaps.
And we were running the ball effectively.
And we were running the ball. Even on the last drive where Tank got slowed down at the goal line, they held the ball for 7 minutes. The backups.
Yeah. Now, that's where sometimes I get upset, because I was like, there's different things we can do with that ball if we're trying to run it in. Like, what happened to the old school? Just go over the top, man.
Yes,
over the top.
And he definitely should score. But even on that drive, the backups held the ball for 7 minutes.
Right.
So that right there is what I wanted to see. Eagles football. That right there was Eagles football.
Yeah, we had mop-up duty in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, Jalen came up. Jalen hurt his ankle on the last play of the 3rd quarter. The first play of the 4th quarter, he threw a touchdown to AJ, and he was done for the day.
He was out. So yeah. So props to Sirianni for doing that, because a lot of coaches won't do that. So props to Sirianni for going ahead and put the backups in and giving the mop-up duty for the whole 4th quarter, because we had it handled, and they didn't give up nothing, and we got the goose egg. The defense looked good. The offense looked good. Special teams looked good. That's exactly what we want to see.
And I got to say this. It is amazing. It is just beautiful. Oh, excuse me. To have Britton Covey back. That is a beautiful thing for me. Because like, I remember when Britton Covey first got there, a lot of people talk crap about about Brent Covey, called him a crash out, how he always got hit. The one thing about Brent Covey is he always gets positive yards.
Oh, I called him that, crash out Covey, because he he was still getting used to being a returner, and in my opinion, he would take off too fast, and he couldn't control himself, and he looked like a damn crash test dummy running into folks. And it was like once he figured out how to slow down and set up blocks and stuff like that, he became pretty daggone dangerous.
Yeah, he led the league in punt return yards in 2023. He led the league in punt return yards.
Yep. So
like he's definitely having him back is bigger than people understand.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
Even in the Raiders game, like he had a couple of good punt returns that set us up in good field position. Like if he gets the ball, he makes a good decision with it, whether or not to call fair catch. And when he does return it, he usually gets about 10 to 15 at the least.
Yeah, he gonna pop one. I hope he pop it in the playoffs though.
And I gotta say this too. Will Shipley don't get enough love for how good of a kick returner he is.
Yeah.
Will Shipley has some good returns. Like he
is not, I just want to get the ball at good field position. So whether we return it or whether they just place it there, I don't care. Because the whole kicking game is the NFL done screwed that up. So just go back to the way it was and let's kick and just go with it.
Yeah, if you want, I don't understand why, if you want more returns, why you just didn't move the kick back to the 30 the way that it used to be. You could have just did that. Like the original thing was you kicked it off from the 30 and they always returned it. You could have just went back to that.
Yep. Good point. I don't know what the NFL is thinking, but they thinking. And if they deem it safe or unsafe, or they got to make a move for it, they do it with they do it expeditiously. So
because now with the touchback being at the 35, 2 first downs, you in field goal range.
Yep. I wanted to address somebody's question. AJ Jones. Did y'all see the alleged report that the NFL execs think AJ will be traded this offseason? Yeah, I saw that. It's in the ethos now. Do I think it's going to happen? No. I think AJ Brown is content where he is. I think he understands what the situation is, but I think ultimately it's going to come down to do you want the culture or the bag? Do you want to go somewhere where you can continue to win, or do you want to be the guy where you got to explain everything to everybody all the time because you the number one now? So I don't see AJ going anywhere. I'm gonna take him for his word because he said he don't ever want to leave Philly. He said that.
Yep.
So I'm gonna take him at his word. He know how the sausage is made here. He know what to expect, and when people are acting dumb and stupid, and when people are for real.
Hey, I was gonna say, Coach, your boy Seth been killing them though. I think a little unfairly, to be honest with you.
The only thing I didn't agree with Seth. We talked about this on Twitter. When he made the comment, basically saying, "Well, where's AJ Brown's commentary now? Now that he got his catches and all that kind of stuff, and we still lost, he got anything to say?" And I was like, "Now's not the time." So well, I didn't agree. I didn't necessarily disagree with what he said. I just like, well, what is he supposed to do? He didn't have the meeting with Jeffrey Lurie. He didn't make the promise to stay off social media. That was like, why are you kicking him while he down? You kicking him while he can't fight back.
Right. So, and then I just feel like for me, and y'all can help me out, I think a lot of it, and I love Jalen, but I think a lot of this comes back to, I think people, obviously we all love our teams, but I think people love the quarterbacks of teams so much to where anything that's perceived as something that knocks the quarterback, it almost becomes like we got to protect them at all costs. And I think what happened was people, when they thought AJ was saying things that he really wasn't trying to, like he wasn't going at Jalen. He just was talking about playing better offensively. I think people heard that and immediately went straight to wide receiver talk and he got to be a diva. And it wasn't the case. So then from that point forward, it was like, y'all never listened to it's like you said, Coach, it wasn't the message, it was the messenger.
Right.
Like, you had a problem with the person, not really what he was saying. y'all just took that and ran with it. And from that point forward, the narrative was already spun that, oh, he's talking about targets. And even though he clearly stated what he was talking about, that message never rang, it wasn't loud enough.
Yeah.
Became water under the bridge, and they took that and was like, oh, he's, and I'm like, and plus the other part of it too is, as a receiver, even if he did, he did do his job, there's so many other factors to the game that AJ don't have no control over. He wasn't responsible for them fumbles or that Zach Bond drop pick in Dallas, or he wasn't responsible for the tush push fumble that Jalen had against Chicago. Like, those were things that he had nothing to do with. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just look at it and be like, oh, well, he had his stats and they lost and he's quiet. I'm like, that's not, y'all, Coach, the game is never that simple. It's so
correct.
It's so many.
I say they just jumped on the diva train. I wouldn't necessarily go to the protect Jalen side of it personally, because and I'm not just talking about Seth when I say this. I'm just talking about Philadelphia media and as a whole. The one thing they don't do is protect Jalen. So I don't think it was that. I think they just really they needed a target. And when AJ said what he said, he was the one that they found. Because Philadelphia media is naturally like the majority of the loud ones. Let's put it like that. Not all of them. The loudest ones usually are the most negative and continually looking for something negative to talk about. So when when you win in games, but your star receiver is saying our offense sucks, but you're still winning, it's easy to flip that as, oh, he's just being selfish.
Exactly.
Because that's what the Philadelphia media wants to do. It's just like with the Jalen thing. Like, Jalen had a shitty game against the Chargers. Nobody can argue that. The staunchest, I'm talking about the staunchest of Jalen defender cannot get in there.
Probably his worst game as a pro.
Probably. Yeah, you can't. They can't get in.
Ever since that Tampa Bay game, the first playoff game he played, probably his first one since then.
Like, nobody, you can't get in no chat and no room and nowhere with people that really know football and sit there and try to say Jalen had a good game that night. You can't. It's not possible.
And he still should have won that game.
He should have.
Exactly. That too. And the first thing you hear on the radio is Spike Eskin has the gumption, the unmitigated gall to ask the head coach, "Are you gonna bench him?"
That was
I saw that. But that's that's Spike doing his clickbait and all that type of stuff. So it get stuff like that every time.
I ain't gonna lie. I had to applaud him. I said, "Boy, that took some hang lows to do that right there."
Nah. Because I mean, trust me. You remember when they had AJ called in and was like, "Yo, I do remember that. I ain't leaving." It's the same situation. The media takes one thing and they blow it out of context.
Yeah.
So I look at that situation when AJ Brown actually called in. This was unsolicited, and AJ was like, "Man, what are y'all talking about? Yeah. Like, who started this? I ain't going nowhere.
Yep.
I don't want to." And for the most part, he shouldn't have to. We shouldn't worry about it. And he hasn't exhibited any behavior. The outside is the only people talking about him wanting out.
Yep.
And I don't believe it.
Only reason I even sort of brought up Seth, because obviously him being a former, player in the Eagle, I just felt like he may understand the perspective of a player a little bit more. But when he leaned into that, now the part that I was also kind of like, whatever about is, I heard him earlier this week when he was defending Jalen, which he should. He was like, yeah, y'all get on him when he plays bad, and y'all don't have nothing to say when he plays well, like he did against Sunday, which I agree with.
Right. Is my biggest problem with the Jalen Hurts discourse. That's my biggest problem with it.
My only thing is this, though, when it came to what Seth said, I'm like, are you going to keep that same energy for AJ, though? Because you killed him when you thought he said something that he didn't say, and when they won, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you had apologized to him and say, you know what, maybe it wasn't that bad. See, that's my, it's like, is it really about the team, or is it just a quarterback thing where it's like, Jalen does deserve his respect, but I'm saying it's, when it came to what it was,
I'll say with the AJ thing, I feel like the reason why he went that route and didn't apologize is because the way he framed it, you can substantiate it to an extent. Like he said, when we was winning and he wasn't getting his numbers, he was talking. But now that we're losing, but he's getting his numbers, he's not talking. Technically, he's not wrong. Now it's messed up to say that because we know why AJ's not talking. He sat down with Jeffrey Lurie and basically promised the man he wasn't going to become a distraction. That's why he's not saying nothing else.
Right.
But, so it's unfair to say that, but it's also because of that fact, it's actually truthful. Like it has some legs to it. And with Philadelphia media, all you need is just a little bit of love or something, and they not even gonna walk with it. They gonna run with it, and we know that.
I'm with you.
You're definitely right on that one.
I'm just saying they will take it and run, but I'm saying for what you said in terms of when you say people say things, where when what he said about AJ being somewhat factual, and people taking it and run with it. It's people that feel like that about Jalen when they say he don't throw the ball like these other quarterbacks, and they take that and run with it and say, well, he can't throw. You see what I'm saying? And he defended that, which he should. But I'm just saying, keep that same energy for everybody on the squad because they all are.
Yeah, definitely. I can agree with that. I definitely can agree with that. And what I love about what Seth said was what I love about what Seth said was on the Jalen part of it was whenever Jalen plays bad, the city goes into ruin. It's like martial law. But whenever he plays good, it's because of everybody but him.
Yeah, and you got it on both sides, man. Jalen is polarizing.
He is.
You got people that love him, and you got people that hate him.
I honestly wouldn't like to have nobody at quarterback but him.
I don't know if y'all saw this. What's her name? I think Kay said this. Let me see if I can find this tweet where she was like, the news came out about Tua, right? And she was like, and this is the guy y'all told me was better than our quarterback. And then she hit him with the dots, like, never mind. I was like, I thought the same thing. I thought the exact same thing.
Well, we talked about that whole college perception thing. People still hold on to that forever. Jalen gonna be at his Hall of Fame speech, and they still gonna be talking about. Remember when he didn't play in that second half of the national championship? Like, bro, It's a Hall of Fame speech, bro. Like, when we gonna leave that alone? Like, that's got to be. I don't know why people hold on to the college thing so much. Like, okay, we get it. It's 2018, 2019, a long time ago. Like,
the moment Jalen Hurts started in the 2022 Super Bowl, that conversation was over with.
But to me, though, why people act like he didn't go to Oklahoma and light it up there? Like, he did go there and almost won the Heisman.
It's funny you say that because I got a homie who's a Giants fan who is he say he respect Jalen, but you know them people that say they respect people, but at the same time they be like low key throwing shade,
backhand compliments.
Yeah, backhand compliments and stuff, and like. He was talking about like, man, the problem he had in college was he really couldn't throw and everything. Even at Oklahoma, like he ain't really like he was nice at Oklahoma, but he wasn't nice like that. I was like, did you look at his Oklahoma numbers and who he played with?
Don't go. You ain't got to ask Jalen. Go ask CD Lamb how that was playing with Jalen.
That man had 58 touchdowns. He threw for 38 and he ran for 20. And the only notable receiver he had was CD Lamb. Nobody ever looks at that Oklahoma roster. Oklahoma was not good.
They only look at it when it's something that they could, take a dig at Jalen. So that's what always happens, and that is what will continue to happen because I'm convinced that Jalen will never get the respect he deserves until he hits that 4,000 yard mark pass.
Yep, that's what you 100% on the money.
You know what's crazy? What's crazy though? What people don't talk about is another angle that I looked at it from with his college career. His college career is a microcosm of him. Think about it. When he was at Alabama, yeah, he wasn't this great quarterback, but who was his coach? Nick Saban. And Nick Saban was moving play callers like crazy. Nick Saban's the greatest college coach of all time, but ain't nobody gonna mistake him for no quarterback guru.
Well, yeah, Nick was more the defensive guy. He had who was my guy that who's at LSU now.
One year he had Brian Dable. 1 year he had Steve Sarkisian. Yeah, and then I think that last year when he was the backup, where Tua was the quarterback, I think they had Lane Kiffin that year.
Yeah. And then he went to Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma.
Yep.
But think about it. He put up those numbers with Lincoln Riley, who is considered a quarterback guru. We've been saying for how long, if you get Jalen consistent, good coaching, he will show you who he is. And we've seen that all the way back in college.
Hey, some of that though, I blame Jalen. You know why? Because he just keep winning. That's why he keep losing coaches. I mean, shit, like you keep winning, like you gonna keep losing coaches. That's the reason why. That's the reason why we either got to get us an old decrepit OC who ain't gonna be a head coach again, or Nick gonna have to learn how to consistently call plays. I think that's where it's got to be. I think
it's gonna be that too. I think it's got to be that too. I think it's got to be Nick Sirianni. I think Nick Sirianni is gonna have to evolve and consistently call plays for Jalen to finally get any consistency in that part of his career. Because as long as he's winning, any offensive coordinator, like they talking about Kevin Patullo is a head coaching candidate right now. I've seen that from multiple different sources. This is not
came out like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. And when I first saw it, I was like, this is a joke. And then I started seeing it from reputable sources. I'm like, oh, what are we doing?
Yeah, like, but look at last year. Look at all of the frustration we had with Kellen Moore. It was similar, very similar.
It was. Man, tell him, coach.
It was very similar. So it gets to a point where you can the criticism of Kevin Patullo's play calling is valid sometimes.
Yeah.
But like I've been saying, I can have my grandson call the plays, and as long as everybody on the field executes, it'll be a successful play. So it's to me, it's always execution. It always comes down to the players on the field. When you're talking about baseball, football, basketball, all of that, it doesn't matter. Kevin Patullo does not block. He does not snap. He does not jump off sides, drop balls, get penalties, jump off sides, get holding calls. He doesn't not run through routes. You know, none of that type of stuff. He's just calling the plays, and he's had some good games and he's had some bad games.
My biggest beef with Kevin Patullo as a play caller, and the Raiders game is another reason why I'm actually sitting in a more comfortable position when it comes to KP. My problem with KP most of the season was it seems like it was almost like he was calling plays the way my little brother played Madden. Like it just seemed like he didn't have a plan. He was just, okay, let's run this and see what happens. Like it seemed like it was no sequencing. Like there was nothing to set up something later. Or was nothing to do something later, like, okay, that was successful. Let's see what wrinkle we can add off of that. Like, it just seemed like there was no true plan to what he was doing.
And again, we said the same exact thing about Kellen Moore. The exact same. Kellen Moore, if you run that damn bubble screen one more time,
and the thing is,
I'm gonna lose my shit.
And the thing is, Coach, to piggyback on that, a couple things. One, I feel like I've been clear about Patullo. My thing with Patullo is I just feel like for a guy who's in the spot he's in, the spotlight is so magnified because of who he's coaching. Like I said, if he was in Tennessee or Cleveland or wherever, somewhere, or maybe not Cleveland because they got Shador, but somewhere that was kind of off the grid and he can go through his growing pains as an OC and learn things and get better like he is now, it wouldn't be as magnified because he ain't coaching the defending Super Bowl champs. That's where I think it was something like, okay, if he was somewhere else, it wouldn't look as bad because people wouldn't have such a magnifying glass on it. And then the other part is, like you said, I think, and this is where it sounds weird, the end result of last year kind of cloud people's judgment. We were not the greatest show on turf last year. It wasn't. We was 20.
No, we weren't.
We were 26 or 20. We were about passing numbers wise. We about the same as we were right now. And last year, Kellen Moore had 2K Saquon that Kevin Patullo ain't got right now. So that's the biggest difference. But last year wasn't this prolific attack like, oh my God, Jalen was going for 5,000 and 50 TDs, and then all of a sudden Patullo came and he screwed that up. We weren't prolific like that in the past game like that last year. We was talking last year at this time, we was asking the same question. Kellen Moore, when the run game don't work, you, Jalen, and Nick, can y'all figure it out? And they did that. But it wasn't prolific last year. It was not.
Jalen, I honestly, and this is gonna sound crazy, I actually think Jalen's played better this year than last year.
I think his numbers is better. I don't know if he played better, but I think his numbers is better. 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 I think h
I think he's played better. I think he's played better given what he's been asked to do. Like last year, he wasn't asked to do much because we had 2K Saquon. This year he's like what 9-5, and the offense hasn't been great. And yes, the defense has been better since the bye, but the defense was in the mid-20s at the beginning for the beginning of that year too. So I feel like he's been better this year because he has better numbers. Yes, both years he was efficient. He was efficient as hell. That's what really it came down to. He was efficient and he did not turn the ball over last year. And this year, for the most part, outside of the Chargers game, he hasn't turned the ball over this year.
No, he only, I think, had 2 going into that game. But yeah, I'm with Coach with you on this one because I'm like, when people criticize Patullo and like the amnesia part of winning last year, it clouded everybody's judgment. Yeah. Kellen Moore had us looking like, the 2000 Patriots.
Kellen Moore saved that shit for the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, and it got him hired.
Hey, and my thing is this: who knows if Patullo can't do the same? We don't know that.
Right.
If Patullo come down here and we able to get this division crown and come playoff time, if he comes out
rattle off the wins, What do you think? What realistically? What do you think? How far do we need to go in the playoffs to keep Kevin Patullo?
NFC Championship.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, I think NFC Championship too. And not only do we need to get to the NFC Championship, we cannot look inept offensively getting there. We can't get to the NFC Championship. We can't get to the NFC Championship when winning 10-6 in the wild card round and 17-9 in the divisional round. We can't do that.
I think in order for us to get that far, we're gonna have to play better because I just don't see with the kind of competition we're gonna play. We're gonna have to play some type of good ball on offense to go that far. But I'm like, if we get to the NFC Championship game, and I'm convinced, I don't care what it looked like, he coming back next year, or he's gonna be able to come back if he don't get a job that he won't. Because I'm just like, if we talking about all this cohesion that we need for Jalen to get better, well, this is our opportunity. Because even if Patullo does get a job offer, he ain't what Kellen Moore was last year. I don't think he's gonna be that hot on the market. So
no, I don't think so either. And the one thing that we still have to remember is that Kevin Patullo, most of the games that we've lost was not because of Kevin Patullo.
No,
not at all.
I've come to grips with the situation. If they didn't fire Kevin Patullo at our bye week, it wasn't gonna happen. So I'm like,
I don't think he gets fired at all.
Well, I thought it was a possibility, especially after that game, and it was just things weren't looking great. But now that we get to week, we got 3 games left, and I'm like, if they was gonna make a move, they would have made it by now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So we stuck with them. So what I got to do, you got to kind of switch the energy, and it's like, man, you got to figure out how to call a good game. And we saw what happened against the Raiders. We've had opportunities to do that. It should have been a good game against the Cowboys. It should have been a good game against Denver. It should have been a better game against Chicago. We've had opportunities, and I know I say this all the time, and it's kind of cliche, but the games that we lost, with the exception of the Giants game, we are 1 or 2 passes away from a totally different conversation. Different conversation.
Absolutely. I mean, and to piggyback off that, Coach, and this is piggybacking off the Kellen Moore thing from last year, is that even if some of those games were his fault, maybe he just is going through the natural growing pains. He's human.
Correct.
Correct. He's learning just like a rookie, like Shedeur Sanders is learning. Like, he's a rookie in terms of this is his first time calling plays, and it's a high profile job. So I'm like, he could just be getting better just like everybody else. Like, players get better, coaches get better with time. And I'm like, maybe we just got to reserve our true judgment for him for come playoff time, because I don't care what rank we got, Coach. If we win the Super Bowl, Kevin Patullo going to be the second, or he going to be the greatest offensive coordinator we ever seen. He going to be perfect, because ain't nobody going to care about what happened in the regular season no more. That's what we did with Kellen, because Kellen wasn't, like I said, Kellen didn't have us prolific in the passing game, or even last year, even with the run game. You were still saying, I remember last year, we should bounce it outside more with Saquon. So it wasn't like Kellen Moore was this prolific, like, revolutionary offensive coordinator. He wasn't better than Shane. Shane Steichen was. But
what Kellen Moore did was Kellen Moore saw 6'8", 365, 6'7", 365, 6'6", 336. And he said, you know what? We just gonna run behind those guys.
Yeah, I mean that's what he did, and it
But
worked.
that's not complicated.
No, it's not.
I don't know.
I'm
It didn't have to be either.
But also remember, if Kevin Patullo comes back next year, this will be only what, the second time since Jalen's been a pro that he's got offensive coordinator past 2 years.
I believe so. I think he had Shane.
It'll be the first time.
And who else?
It'll be the first time. It'll be the first time in his career he goes into training camp with the same play caller.
Well, no, because the year he had Steichen for 2 years.
Well,
in 2021, yeah, he had Steichen, but Nick Sirianni started off as the play caller that year.
Okay, you're right. I see what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. This will be the first time he goes into training camp, install, all that, with the same play caller 2 years in a row. Because even in 2021, it started off as Nick. He handed it off to Shane. Shane finished it after they started 3-6. He handed it off to Shane, and then he went into the next offseason knowing Shane was going to be his play caller. This would be the first time in his career he goes through that part of it, which is a very important part of it, with the same play caller.
But I can see, at this point, I don't have a problem with Kevin Patullo coming back, because now I want to see Jalen once again with a coordinator that he's had for more than 1 year. Because now you don't have any excuses. You're not going to spend as much time trying to find your identity. Not going to happen. It's like, bruh, you have been your arsenal the whole time, and we haven't called this since. So
your first year, that first year is your trial and error year.
Yeah, I just think for a guy that was going through a trial and error year, and I was telling you this coach from the jump, I just felt like this was a tough place to do that because of the expectations. That's where I felt like it was unfair to him. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like when you following behind an OC that just won the Super Bowl, that's like my boy up at Alabama that's following right behind Nick Saban. Those are big shoes to fill. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to get a fair shake like Kellen Moore this time of year ago was dealing with the same things he's dealing with, but because of how Kellen finished, everybody forget that and acts like, oh my God, like we were scoring 40, like we weren't better offensively. Detroit had a better offense than we did last year if you look at total offense and everything like that, but you wouldn't know that because of the Super Bowl. And everybody looking at Patullo and like, well, Kellen Moore was doing this and he had Jalen looking like this. I'm like, what game was y'all watching last year? No, he didn't. He had some of the same issues, the same questions.
Outside of that Steelers game, he had Jalen looking like nothing but an efficient game manager.
Well, he had a whole offense pretty much was like that. This is all I'm saying. So
I think Jalen's comfortable. At least I can say this for after the Raiders game. He looks like he's comfortable taking those shots downfield, and I'm not talking about the moon balls. I'm talking about like that laser he threw down the middle. He threw that in a relatively tight window. AJ had a little bit of space on both sides, but that was a window. And I think he's getting a little bit more throwing those balls, but he's just not going to be reckless and try to go deep and every time. He's not going to do that.
I love that play design because if the corner does what the corner's supposed to do and get on top of that, he's got Will Shipley wide open for the first down. I'm talking about Will Shipley was naked open for the first down on that play too. So I love that design. That was a beautiful design. He had multiple people open on that play.
Now, do you think he drew that up that week? No.
He been had
that's
that.
Been in the arsenal. How come all of a sudden, and this goes back to the player execution failure, how come all of a sudden that play worked?
Because dudes did what they were supposed to do.
Did what they were supposed to do. The
And
line could hold blocking. And to me, that's been the major issue for the Eagles all year is our offensive line, period.
Everybody was lined up right. Nobody false started. Nobody held. And AJ ran all the way through his route. And Jalen didn't hesitate. When he saw it, he let it go.
Kevin Patullo can't do nothing about any of those issues on the field during game time.
He can't
at all.
And I think the fact that, like you said, Coach, people, it's a quote. I heard somebody say people don't judge play calls; they judge play results. So if something works, it's the greatest play ever. And if it don't, the OC is an idiot. And I'm like, well, when the stuff is working, is he a genius then? Because it seemed to all be about the players then. And when they don't work, it's like, Patullo, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, man, I'm not saying he's perfect. We've criticized him, but it's like some of these plays, when they in practice, I promise you it look good. They're not drawing it up for it to not work. It's supposed to work a certain way, but somebody getting the game, somebody's missing a block. We know what's going on with our offensive line. Guys are slipping on the field at times. It's messing up the timing of the plays. Like it,
Yeah,
and then
you don't practice the
coach. Them other guys get paid too.
Everything, especially with Philly media, is judged in hindsight, and hindsight is 20/20 for everybody.
Yep.
I'll give you a perfect example. And everybody gonna feel the way they feel about this play. But when we played the Bears and we go down and score, and Nick goes for 2 early,
bad decision.
If Dallas Goedert actually runs a route and Jalen can hit AJ on that wide open slant and they get the 2, it's no longer a bad decision.
Correct.
It would have been. Yeah, that was, Coach, I'm not going to lie. That was one of the, when I really was, it was clear to me that player execution is far more superior than to all these play calls. Because that play, if Dallas Goedert runs anywhere else but the place he ran, AJ was going to be wide open and it would have been a 2-point conversion, and we would have kept the momentum of the game, and who knows what happened.
And not to cut you off, Chris, but when Jalen snaps, when the ball is snapped, where does Jalen's eyes go? Right to AJ, because he knew where the play was going.
Yeah.
If Dallas could have stayed and blocked, but he ran there and stepped at the goal line and stopped and brought his man right in the slant passing lane.
Right there.
Didn't he almost like slip and fall and then bring his man all the way into the play and it blew the whole thing up pretty much?
Like he slipped off the line and got to the goal line and stood there. He didn't do anything else. If he runs a flat route, which was probably what he should have ran, if he runs a flat route and takes his man out and Jalen hits AJ in the chest, we talking a 24-17 game. They kick off deep. We know they're going to stop him.
And I guarantee you, that's the way they worked it in practice.
Yeah, and that's when I'm like,
they worked it in practice. So it's
not, I promise you, when that happened, that's and you're right, Chris. That's that moment where you go. That's what Coach be talking about with player execution, right there.
Oh, that's when it was clear as day. Because when I first saw it, I'm like, why are we going for 2 in that situation? Because the extra point is a high percentage kick. You know what I'm saying? Even though Jake did miss one earlier in that game, but I'm still like the extra, the extra point. It's an easier kick. You know what I'm saying? We could get the 1 point and we go play defense and we do. And I'm like, why we do that? But then when I saw the all 22 or I saw the tape, I don't know if Coach had it or somebody else did, and I saw AJ was wide open until Dallas ran the wrong route or whatever. Yep. I'm like, oh,
and brought his man in the coverage.
Yeah,
that's what happens sometimes.
And I'm gonna be 100% honest with y'all. If we get that 2, we don't see Jake. I think Nick goes for the win if they get the ball back.
He might have. I don't know, but the fact of the matter is, player execution is where a lot of this stuff starts, and that's everybody. That's Jalen. That's the O-line. That's the receivers. That's everybody. Tight ends. Everybody got to do what they got to do.
Yeah, man.
Super chat.
24 Birds, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Jalen can earn respect from critics if he wins a couple of more Super Bowls. Well, that's Captain Obvious. Aikman never passed for over 3,500 yards in the season. Jalen already passed for more yards than that twice. Also, you got to remember they didn't play as many games either. So
it was different.
So but your point is
in this with the backfield. So
your point is a good point. And I've said that before, but in this day and age, in this era of football, they're trying to make it quarterback centric. Quarterback, does everything. They just want him to be front and center of everything. And when they don't, when it doesn't look the way they want it to look, there's always a lot of pushback. Always a lot of pushback.
But do you think, Coach, because I know you alluded to this too. When you look at, for example, because I'm out here in LA, so I'm down the street from the Rams and SoFi. So when you look at a Matt Stafford, right, and you see the receivers he got, and you see how prolific they are offensively, do you think when he win the Super Bowl, they give him more credit than Jalen because they say, well, he's legitimately the driving force, whereas with us, Jalen is a huge part of it for sure, but we still have our struggles. And I think, do you think people look at it and be like, it's no way that a guy with this much talent, it should ever be that much of a struggle. And maybe that's where the critique comes from. Do you think that play a role in, like, basically the fact that we're not more explosive offensively in the pass game, even though we got these weapons, and then people got to go back to the quarterback? Do you think that's why it is?
I mean, possibly, because it's so subjective, and it's what everybody's looking for something.
Right.
But I just don't know what that something is, and I just know that if Trevor Lawrence would have had the stats and career that Jalen Hurts has had thus far, they would already be talking about him for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, well, he fit the criteria. You know what that is. I mean,
Correct.
He fit the criteria.
They'll fudge some movie that.
A lot of this is who they picked. Like, they had who they knew was gonna be this guy beforehand, and they're gonna back that guy as much as they can. They're gonna find the excuses for him. If you weren't the guy that they picked, like the scouting report on Jalen was, he's a project, never gonna be a refined passer. He's a great athlete.
Oh, he'll never be a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, that was basically it. He'll never be a franchise quarterback. And there's clips. There's a video of the clips. He'll never lead the team to the Super Bowl. Then he gets there, and then it was, oh well, he'll never win the Super Bowl.
They keep moving the goalposts,
and they're gonna keep. And I've gotten to the point where I've inclined myself to the point where I don't even argue with them no more. Like, I realize that if you're on the Jalen side, you're going to be perceived as giving him way too much credit, and if you're on the other side, you're going to be perceived as giving him way too much hate. Even if your criticisms are valid, it's always going to be the extreme.
That's it in a nutshell. The people that really want to have the conversation, because it's a multi-layered conversation.
It is.
Those people that want to have that conversation are in the minority.
Yeah,
because most of the people are the sports talk radios and the content creators who are unabashedly loud about what they hate about what Jalen Hurts does.
Absolutely.
But when Josh Allen does the same thing the exact same way,
I think though, and this where I think is you bring up the Josh Allen, because we always keep it real. I think, and this is even me being objective, if Josh Allen do the same thing as Jalen do, I think there's a couple reasons. One, like I said, Josh Allen do fit that criteria that we talking about. One,
yep, he fits the mold.
But I will be honest about this, and this is me being all the way 100, even though I love Jalen. There ain't no AJs and Devontaes in Buffalo though, Coach. That's just the way some people look at it, and it's like. Whereas, he did have Diggs, he did have him, and he didn't max, he didn't do it with Jalen, but he didn't have another guy opposite of Diggs that was as good as a Devontae, I don't think. Or he had Kincaid, he got Kincaid up there, but like I said, I think some of it comes from the aspect that when you have more talent around you, you are expected to do more. Like, if you look at all if you look at all the top wide receiver duos in the league that are together, if you look at CD and George Pickens, or Puka and Devontae, or Jamar Chase and my boy T Higgins, if you look at the duos that are considered pretty much top notch,
yes,
as far as them as in terms of passing, they're all pretty much up there. The only two that really are elite, in terms of as a duo that ain't really considered, top notch in terms of receiving yards and passing, that's AJ and Devontae. And I think people look at that and they like, well, goddamn, all these other receivers that are dynamic. You look at what they're doing up in Seattle with JSN and Jackson Smith and Jigba and whoever else. I think that's why they like, oh, those guys are, they're prolific and their teams are winning. And then they look at the Eagles and they're like, well, why they got these dudes? And it seemed to be a struggle. I think that's where they look at it. And some of the media heads, they look and be like, well, why ain't he doing what those guys do?
And we getting our stuff together at the right time.
That's true.
My pushback on that would be, that's nice. Can you read me their stat lines in the AFC Championship and Super Bowl games, please?
Well, Stafford.
If you can't, then we don't need to have a conversation.
This is a results-based business.
That's true.
And for a couple of weeks, we wasn't getting the results that we wanted. So we complained.
Absolutely.
Because I tell you, I tell you this, we would have bagged on Jalen, but if he go down and score a touchdown in overtime, you know what we would have said? Jalen had a shitty game, but he showed us again how clutch he is.
Yeah, for sure. I just think what I'm saying. I think Jalen gets the worst of it, but I think the way people evaluate quarterbacks is just it's impossible to know for sure what's what, because like we don't really know how to quantify. What does it mean that a guy carries a team? Like everybody need help. You know what I'm saying? Everybody benefit from a run. You know what I'm saying? So what does it mean when we say a guy needs help or a guy does more with less? Like, what does that mean? Like, I think the way people evaluate
the criteria is based on their perception of that player.
Well, that's true.
They're gonna. I need a Pee Wee Herman secret word surprise. When you said perception, that's the buzzword for the week.
Yeah, Jalen, that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
The perceived pressure.
That was beautiful. I replayed that moment at a press conference like 3 times.
That was funny.
But yeah, it's based on their perception. Like was said, Jalen was never expected to be a franchise quarterback. Jalen has become a franchise quarterback. So now they got to find every excuse as to why they were wrong instead of just saying, you know what, I was wrong. And every time they get a chance where Jalen has a game like against the Chargers, they get a chance to say, see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, listen, Colin Cowherd after that game said, I don't trust Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts in big spots and big games.
Cowherd's a flip-flopper.
What?
he's a flip-flopper, man. Don't worry about that.
But do y'all think though? Like obviously, I think the perception is a huge part of it. But do you think, like I said, the whole aspect of, because you said it too, Coach, the fact that he don't throw for 4,000 or 5,000 yards, and some of these other guys do. Do you think that the perception is part of it, but do you think that people look at that and be like, well, with the talent he got, he should be doing more in that regard?
That's a fair criticism.
That is fair. With the roster we have, we should be doing more. Okay. That's a fair criticism. But throwing all of the other stuff doesn't matter, because you take somebody that does throw for 4,500, 5,000 yards, and how many touchdowns do they have? How many interceptions they have? And by the way, how many times did they make it to the Super Bowl in 3 years?
Right.
Let's not forget that. Everybody wants to just totally dismiss them going to the Super Bowl and win. 22?
Yeah, 23. 23.
You can't do that.
No, you can't do that.
Because your guy that threw for 4,800 yards and had the crazy yards per attempt didn't even sniff the postseason. So I will take that, and people got to stop moving the goalposts because it doesn't look the way they want it to look.
Yeah. My pushback on the whole, his team doesn't look like this guy's team thing is this. When y'all praising them when they putting up these numbers, y'all ain't got no complaints about the team then. But you always want to make that complaint when we get to the playoffs and that guy comes up short. Now it's, his team don't look like that guy's team. Well, they look pretty damn good for 17 weeks. Why they can't do it in January? What changed? They was good enough for them to put up these numbers, right?
We'll see.
I think he got to get that 4,000-yard season Coach talking about for him to get,
He like they're always gonna find a reason. Even if I'm gonna tell you this, even if he got the 4,000 yards, you know what they're gonna say? He only did it once.
Well, probably, but I think they'll start to look at it differently because of just the way the game is played now, and it is quarterback driven, and they want quarterbacks to have these big numbers. But I'm not. To me, them other quarterbacks that put up those big numbers, it ain't Jalen's fault that them dudes a lot of times in the playoffs don't show up. Like Jalen does, that's a fact. But I also will say, if somebody look and be like, "Hey man, what's up with y'all over there? Y'all got all this talent, and it ain't prolific like these other dudes." I'm like, I don't really know who fault that is. I can't say for sure, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? If I'm looking at, like I said, I'm seeing the Rams might be the best team in football this year, and they passing attack is off the chain. And I don't think Puka and Devontae are better than AJ and Smitty. I really don't. But
no, you could argue that, but no,
they're in a conversation.
I agree with you.
Yeah, if they're better, it's not a huge gap. And I'm like, I mean, I'm seeing the way they look offensively, especially in the passing attack. And I'm like, if somebody say, what's up with Jalen and why is it not working over there? Like, kind of like these other teams with these top, even, and I know they choked it away and whatever, but for a little bit there, even Dak with CD and George Pickens, they was lighting it up a little bit. When they got on that little mini run, they ended up doing what they do. But I'm saying, if somebody look at it and be like, why don't Jalen do some of that? I don't know if I have a good answer. I mean, I don't. But he do what's most important, which is show up when it counts. So
show up when it counts and get us through the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the most important.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters. 24 Burrs, thank you for the super chat. Who you got for DC between Vic Fangio and Buddy Ryan? Oof. I mean, I didn't play for Buddy. Fun fact, I didn't play for Buddy, but Rex Ryan did coach me my freshman year at Eastern Kentucky.
For real?
Yeah. Rex Ryan was on our staff that year in 1989, 88, 89. So I guess I would pick Buddy because Buddy was responsible for everybody I played with. Willie T, Byron Evans, Seth Joyner, Eric Allen, Wes Hopkins, Andre Waters. Who else? We had Gerald Nichols. We had the Fridge. We had Keith Millard. We had. I mean, I played where we had the last piece of that Gang Green defense. Reggie left in 91, and then Jerome Brown passed away in 92, and then that was the prevalent situation at that given time because we had just met, we just met his wife. She came up and the Eagles did something for her. So it was just in that era, man. And I would have to say Buddy because the guys that I played with played for Buddy.
How long was Buddy in Philly, Coach?
I want to say 5 years.
5 years.
Let me see.
I heard he was blitzing the hell out of people. Yeah.
I gotta clock back in, fellas. I appreciate spending my lunch break with y'all.
All right, man. I appreciate you.
I'll say this though, Chris, before I get off to your point about the prolific offenses. I'm okay with watching an efficient, not really prolific offense in the regular season if they play in February.
Yeah, but I mean, that's true. But I feel like in the playoffs, our offense has been better, which is why we playing in the Super Bowl. Like our playoff offense is better.
That is literally my point. That is literally my point.
Buddy Ryan only coached with the Eagles for 5 years, from 86 to 90.
Damn, he was only here for 5 years? Oh.
5 years. 86, 87, 88, 89. Yep. 5 years.
Yeah, nah. But yeah, I was like, my last little tip because like I said, I think that whole thing with Jalen though, and I think that's just you said it. I think the fact that he ain't thrown for that type of, he hasn't had that explosive sort of 4,000 or 40-yard TD types or 40 TD type season. I think that's why it is what it is. And people always gonna be like, as long as he plays the way he plays, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. It's not gonna change. It's not gonna go nowhere unless he all of a sudden starts doing that.
Right.
Change. It's just gonna be that. It is what it is. But even me, sometimes I'd be like, shoot, I'd be looking around the league and I'm like, God damn. I mean, I'm not saying throwing a bunch of yards is the end all be all, but I think it would be a lot easier if we could do. I see all these other teams, they getting their playmakers the ball and they efficient. I just think it would help our defense.
It would. Anytime you got the offense and they can sustain a drive, that always helps the defense. So,
and I'm like, for the defense we got, I don't think we got to be spectacular on offense. If we could just be middle of the road consistently, man, we would be undefeated. I feel like because we had that good of a defense.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
And but as long as they can get this thing right and they can get it going come playoff time, last final stretch, and starting with Saturday, I hope they come out Saturday and take care of Washington. Don't have a slip up and then let this thing get more.
Let's go ahead and clinch this division and be done with it.
Division and then figure out what Chicago and the other teams gonna do. You think Seattle will win tomorrow? Because they got the Rams at home.
They can beat the Rams.
It's up there in Seattle, so
the Rams don't do anything special to me.
You don't think so?
No. Matthew Stafford is good, but every time we've met him, we've handled it. We've handled our business.
It's been close though. It's been
So,
close. I will say, whatever it is, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's us having us having Quinion and Cooper might help. But man, I know you talk about being predictable. Listen, every time it's 3rd and 7, coach, or 4th and 5, I know exactly where the Rams throwing the ball.
yep.
Everybody and their mama know where the ball going, and it ain't
Yep.
stopped nothing yet.
And he just lost Devontae Adams, and I thought Puka Nacua, he got dinged up in the game, but he came back in the game.
He did. I don't think Devontae play tomorrow. I think obviously he'll be back by playoff time. But
Yeah.
I'm saying that connection he got, even when they play against us, I mean, Puka's a problem. He's a real problem. So
A problem that we have handled before.
yeah, we
So-
have. We're gonna need to if we're gonna try to get to the Super Bowl again. I think more than likely because they probably gonna have home field. I think so.
Yeah.
Unless they get knocked off, we might have to go through SoFi, which is cool for me. Shoot, it's down the street.
Yeah, 24 birds, man. The Marino stats, like Dan Marino was arguably the best pure thrower I've ever seen. That guy. So
Damn.
once we get there, once we get in the playoffs, it doesn't. I don't want style points. I just want to win,
Oh yeah.
and that's it. The rest of this nonsense is irrelevant to me.
Yeah, nah. I don't care how many passing attempts Jalen got. As long as the ones he throw are effective, that's all I care about. As long as he make them count. But other than that, coach, shit, it was good being back. Got a chance to rap with you for a little bit tonight. It's been a while. I'm like, damn.
It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute.
Like coach might have shut it down for the league for the year. I'm like, okay, I'll just be in the chat though.
No. I'm still grounded, man. I'm changing things up this week because I have the opportunity. I'm gonna do the same thing next week. I'll probably go again 12 o'clock tomorrow. Then me and Tone got the pre wait a minute. Did me and Tone go tomorrow? No, me and Tone don't go tomorrow.
Y'all went yesterday, right?
Yeah, we did yesterday.
Y'all did yesterday. Okay.
So I'll probably be, I don't know if I'll be on at noon.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? No, I won't. No, I won't. Because I'm cooking tomorrow. I gotta cook 2 pork butts tomorrow. So I'll be back. You know what? I might do, if the weather is nice.
Mhm.
I think it's supposed to be like 50-something degrees up here. I might do a stream outside with my barbecue pit.
Yeah, I like the
I
you
might
had
do
that it was, I think one day you was raking leaves, and I think you used to do that earlier in the year. You were doing the golf. I think when you would go golf
Yeah.
Saturday morning.
Yep.
I was like, yeah,
So-
those are pretty solid. Just seeing you in different elements besides you being in the studio.
Yeah. I might do the barbecue pit. I'm trying to decide if I want to get this this MetaQuest, the virtual headset, MetaQuest 3.
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out a way. I gotta call Tracy to see if I can pull some strings again. Because I saw Dan Orlovsky use this program on ESPN one time. And he had the headset on, and basically he was just drawing a play up,
Mhm.
but it was in 3D.
Oh really? Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
It was in 3D, and he could pick a player, and he could go into his perspective, his point of view, and he was looking at what the quarterback was seeing, and if there were linemen in the way, that's what you saw. So, but the software, I was like, that looked just like the game I got, and it was by the same people, and I started calling some of my contacts in the NFL. I was like, how can I get a copy of that software so I can do what he's doing on television? That's all I wanted. That's the only reason I want to get it, just to figure out if I can do that.
Gotcha.
So I got to do some more research before I pull the trigger on something like that, because I just fired up my old one. I got the MetaQuest 2, and I turned it on the other day, updated it. Now I ain't used it in almost well over a year, so all the stuff done changed. But yeah, I'm trying to, me, man. I'm always trying to find out what the next thing is, man. So, but all right, Chris.
All right, coach. Appreciate you always, man.
You got it, man. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Go Birds.
Go Birds. So yeah, man, we got I'm coming with that cooking. Yeah, I got our company Christmas party is on Friday, so I said I was gonna do. I bought 2 pork butts that I'm gonna cook. I was gonna buy some country ribs because country ribs are already pre-cut, and they don't have a big long bone in it. So I was gonna do some country ribs, but I decided not to. I put my name on the list for pulled pork, so that's what I'm gonna do. Got my hickory chunks in there. I bought some lump charcoal, and I'm gonna get up early tomorrow. Pulled pork is easy. That's why I chose to do it. It's not like a brisket. Brisket, you gotta watch. Brisket is easy. You just gotta watch it like a hawk. Pulled pork is like it's hard to mess that up. Hard to mess up pork. So all you gotta do is stick it in there, set that joke at about 250, 275, and cook it until it's 205 on the inside. That's all you gotta do. You ain't gotta spritz it. You ain't gotta do none of that. So maybe I will do that tomorrow and set up the tripod and try some things. So, but all right, man, I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm going to get up out of here. So, you stepping up your grilling, like that. Barbecue is a sport. So, but Eric, why can the Lions have 2 running backs and quarterback and doesn't run play RPOs effectively, but everyone else here is hyper focused on Jalen running and he has 2 running backs? That's a matter of the scheme that we run and what we do with it. So we shall see. We shall see. But I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Good conversations tonight. Get my wings on one more time. Because I got it like that. I like the way that looks. It came out better than I could ever imagine. All right, man. I'm gonna get up out of here. We'll talk tomorrow sometime. I'll be outside on the pit cooking, and then I should be done before Thursday night football come on. So y'all have a good night, and I will talk to you later. Go Birds.